Pretty good. Great.
Well, thank all you guys for coming and joining us today. I'm extremely excited about this cooking demo because we're actually utilizing a company that is local out of Cleveland called Perfectly Imperfect Produce. So I'm gonna let JC explain a little bit about the company, and then I'll explain about what comes in the box and what we're gonna do with it.
We recently partnered with Perfectly Imperfect Produce through NEOMED, probably 3-4 weeks ago now. They are a company out of Cleveland who sources a lot of produce that doesn't quite look perfect. So kind of the seconds that you would hear about that a lot of stores and vendors often would waste. Some food would not be purchased by grocery stores or other markets and things like that, and would typically be thrown away. So instead, this company comes in, purchases all of these items. They are just as fresh and nutritious as all of the primary produce that looks nice and pretty, but sometimes they just look a little funky. So still just as good.
To kind of like piggyback off of what she's saying, what I've learned over cooking over the years that when you get apple that isn't perfectly round, or orange that's perfectly round, or a mango that is like ugly, for lack of better words, those are some of the ones that taste the best, first of all. And also I believe that they're not treated with any type of like pesticides or anything like that to make them that perfect shape. So I'm really excited this company is being able to do this. And also the fact that the beginning result doesn't look like the end result. So you'll see as we go through today what we're working with, how, let's say, the sweet potato is going to be very different in size and shape than what you would normally see, but the end result is still going to taste delicious and it's going to look good with how.
And the way this company works, they go on weekly subscriptions, so you can decide what size box you want to purchase, if you want all vegetables, all fruit, all organic, and right now they deliver directly to your home, so something you don't have to worry about anyone else being in contact with your purchases, so they deliver straight to your home. And then NEOMED has agreed to cover about $7.50 of everyone's purchase. For the most part, that covers your delivery fee. Depending on what county you live in, that fee varies a little bit. But our intent is later on in the year, as we are all back on campus and things are running smoothly, we hope to make NEOMED a pickup location for the community as well. So this can be a program that anyone, whether just Rootstown community members, anyone affiliated with NEOMED, including students or Sequoia members, people who come in to use the pharmacy, anyone could come pick up their produce on our campus each week. So you can easily skip weeks in that as well. So a little bit of a commercial for them, but thank you to Perfectly Perfect Produce. They have so graciously donated today's products to Xavier to test this out and make a new recipe with their food.
So with that being said, I say we should get into it. So if you don't know, you will know after this, I am predominantly vegetarian, somewhat pescatarian. And with doing that, I'm always trying to find new ways to enjoy foods that a normal person would eat, who eats meat, and still be able to enjoy them, but not have to have meat in it, or not have to have something that's processed, that's a mock meat, in order to add to it. So what I decided to do today was, they gave me a list of products that I was able to choose from that they sent in the Perfectly Imperfect Produce box. And I wanted to do Chipotle sweet potato tacos. In order for us to get protein in it, we're adding black beans to it, and it should be very flavorful. So some of the ingredients that we'll use are, I had zucchini, I have bell peppers, poblano peppers, cilantro, all the ingredients that you would find in a typical taco. And we're going to roast some of it off with the sweet potatoes and some of the zucchini. And then we'll saute off the bell peppers and onions, as well as with the black beans, to kind of pull out some of the natural sugars and flavors and season everything up. And hopefully it should taste good. So that's what we're going to do. The first thing we're going to do is I grabbed my stuff. I wanted to show you guys what I was saying about the sweet potato. As you can see, this sweet potato is huge.
About the size of my head.
And it's not a perfect, like, round or normal sweet potato shape, which I'm excited about. And it goes to show, like, okay, you get 2 of these in the box, you should be able to make 8, 9 tacos out of this. So maybe 2 of these sweet potatoes will be able to feed your family with dinner. This also is a low budget cost meal. So it's not like it's going to take, or you have to spend a lot of money order to add to what you're getting out of the produce box, which I think is very helpful. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to take the sweet potato, I'm going to peel it, and then I'm going to cut it into a medium small dice. So I'm going to start with that. Now, JC, you had their products before, right? What is your take on it? Or, like, how do you feel about it?
So I tested the box out the first couple weeks, and actually I have one being delivered today. Mm-hmm. So I live by myself, and I decided to purchase the mini box, which is their smallest option. And I had actually, that first week, I was quite surprised. I took a picture and sent everything that I got to Xavier because I was very impressed. They sent a lot of food. It said serves 1 to 2 people, and there was plenty of fruits and vegetables to get me through almost a week, I would say 5 days. A lot of things that I wouldn't normally purchase on my own, so I had to get on the Google and get a little bit creative. But I really liked it, and the mini box, I'm not sure the prices of all of them, but the mini box was $14, and for the amount of food I got, I thought that was very fair. Good price, really good quality produce. I didn't have anything that was bad or needed to be wasted at that point.
That's good, because I know, like, if you go to the grocery store right now, and after you get a pound of, let's say, stone fruit, because that's in season, so you might pay $2.99 for a pound of plums, nectarines, and peaches, and then after you buy greens and let's say a couple of bell peppers and some onions, you might be at $20, $30 just in produce. So if the mini box was able to supply all that for you, I think that it's a great deal. Not to mention that they're promoting and supporting a lot of local produce companies, which is great. So you kind of know where your food's coming from. It's not coming from some foreign country that you don't know how they're taking care of their products.
Another fun thing too, just to fill you guys in on how this sort of came about. When we launched the partnership with Perfectly Imperfect Produce, I was telling Xavier about the program, which caught his interest, and he wanted to get his hands on a box and try this out. We also contacted Perfectly Imperfect Produce and told them that we wanted to do a cooking demo like this. And they have their own, anyone who's purchased the box already may be familiar, they have their own website where they post a bunch of recipes. And they partner with various local restaurants, chefs, whether it's an event center or something similar to ours. We'll also use their produce and create recipes with them. So after today, and then we're hoping to do another one in August as well, they are going to highlight Xavier and his recipe on their website. So you may see that being featured soon. When you purchase a box, each week they send you their featured recipe of the week, whatever that may be, and they usually vary it. Just an entree every time, or just a side dish, some different things to get creative. So they've got a lot going on, and we're excited to see how the partnership goes with them.
Which I'm excited about, because if you think about it, if you go to the grocery store and there's something that you're not familiar with or that you always wanted to try and you don't know the application to use it with, how to use it, if they're promoting it on the website, that gives you an opportunity or more resources to try it and not have to feel so intimidated about looking on Google, on the internet to try to find something.
If anyone has questions or comments or anything at any time, feel free to pitch in and speak up. You're welcome to interact, or the chat feature as well. Xavier, can you tell us a little bit about, anyone who's on the last cooking demo probably heard this question, but you talked a lot about the colors of the food that you use, especially when it comes to produce. Can you tell us why?
Yes, well, you should always eat, and the reason why I'm very versed in this is because I've been doing a lot of cooking demos with our dietitians, and they say you should eat the rainbow. And not only is it physically or aesthetically appealing to your eyes when you see something that's colorful on your plate, but there's different vitamins and minerals that are coming out of each produce or piece of produce that's a different color. So I try to eat in a variety of colors. Plus, like I said, it's aesthetically pleasing to the eye, and I want to make sure I get an array of vitamins and minerals in what I'm eating. Especially seeing how some of the vitamins I would normally get from meat, I don't get them in a typical way because I don't eat meat. So I try to eat a rare colors, and it keeps, you know, what do they say, variety is the spice of life. So I try to eat a variety of things. This is, you know, plus a lot of things are good in some seasons, you know, where in other seasons they're not in season. So that just kind of helps with that. So as you can see, I diced down, that's a lot of sweet potatoes for one sweet potato, which came up, and the color is beautiful and it feels perfect. So I'm really excited about this. Next, I'm going to dice our zucchini. This also came from Perfectly Imperfect. Looks kind of like a zucchini, so I'm excited. It's not overly huge, but it's not super small. So let's see how it turns out. Okay, it must be a zucchini.
Can't be too hard.
So what did you make? Did you make anything fun or different with your first box that you made?
I'm not the most creative in the kitchen. I will give everyone that preface. I don't come up with cool things like Chipotle vegetarian tacos. I did find myself kind of mixing and matching vegetables that I normally wouldn't. The first week I know I had a tomato, I had summer squash, I had, they'd given me 2 heads of like a red leaf lettuce and, small radishes, white and red radishes. So I ended up, I wouldn't normally, we do have radishes,
Yep,
there we go, right there. So I ended up kind of, without the tomatoes, chopping all of those and roasting them and then tossing them on the red leaf lettuce and making sort of a salad out of that. Whereas normally I wouldn't have purchased, you know, radishes and summer squash to put on myself if I was at the store by myself. So I was trying to use everything up and get a little bit creative in that way. It's very good.
Okay, that sounds like it was a lot of fun.
I have to spend more time up here at the new center kitchen and observe and learn.
I think one of the better things that's come out of the quarantine and what we're dealing with is that by us having to be home, it gives us the opportunity to be more creative and be more adventurous in some of the stuff that we're having to experience, like in the grocery store, or finding ways to not become palate fatigue with eating the same things over and over. So by their produce changing every week, it's, you know, a fun and exciting way to kind of make, you know, a good thing, whether it's with your family or just you yourself in the kitchen, pour a glass of wine and go for it. That's what I say. So now I'm gonna add a little olive oil. We have dried cumin. We have chipotles.
I don't think I said earlier as well, but X has written all of the ingredients and everything down into recipes, so I will share that with everybody. I'll share that with everybody afterwards, and we'll also include that with the reporting as posted in Pulse, so we have access to what he's doing here. You guys can't smell it, but it smells really good in here.
And then, salt and pepper.
X's point about trying new produce, I feel like you guys all would have got a good laugh yesterday. We did this as a pop-up because we weren't sure when the box was going to be delivered, and we wanted to make sure we had the ingredients by the time we scheduled the event. So they delivered it yesterday, and I brought the box up to the kitchen, and we opened it up, and there's this papaya that was like enormous, and I'd never tried a papaya before. I've heard of them, never tried it before, never seen one in real life, had no idea what it was. And Xavier reminded me that I'm not very cultured in the food world.
How was it? Because
it was good. It was a little bit, I could tell it wasn't quite completely right yet, but it was tasty. Different.
And that is your first time having it?
Yes.
Well, that's what it's about. I mean, if they're able to send stuff that you wouldn't normally buy in the store, and papayas can be expensive, you know, it gives you the opportunity to try something, and you don't have to invest too much your own money. That way, if it's something that you don't care for, you can be like, well, I didn't care for that as much. I didn't spend much money. You know what I mean? So now we're going to put it on our sheet tray. And then we're going to roast this in the oven for 25 minutes at, I think 425, I'm sorry. If you're using convection, you want to take it down to 400 because you always want to decrease by 25 degrees if you have a convection oven at home. If you're using your standard oven, you want to use it at a conventional oven. You want to do it at 425. As you can see, it's beautiful colors on a tray so far. We haven't even roasted it yet. So I'm really excited about how this is gonna turn out. I'm gonna go throw this in the oven. And then while that's cooking, we're gonna start building our, the rest of the filling that's gonna go in the tacos. So right now, I'm going to start sauteing off the bell peppers, the poblano peppers, the onions, and the black beans, and we'll season that. And then while that's going, we're also going to put together the slaw. So they were gracious enough to supply me with a pineapple and some fresh kale. So I figured we can make pineapple kale slaw to kind of cut through some of the heat from the chipotles in the dish. So it's still going to give us crunch. We're going to have a nice freshness to it. And everything's going to be kind of light and just kind of flow. So we can start with that. So as always, I always start with the onions. I like to cook them down to release some of the natural sugars and flavors in them, and not crowd the pan with everything all at once. So I always cook in layers. I want to extract the flavors out of each and every piece of produce that we're doing so we get the maximum flavor. Usually when they start to caramelize, the sugars start to caramelize and that's where you get your flavor from. So I usually go, if I'm using carrots, I always do carrots first because they're really easy to extract the sugars. So I'll do carrots and then I'll do my onions and then I'll follow things like celery or bell pepper.
You guys were getting a little muffled there. I didn't know if you moved from where you were.
All right, thanks. We'll see if we can play with that.
I don't know if that was a problem for anyone else or not.
Is that better or is that worse?
Our camera a little bit. Yeah, she said that's a little bit better.
A little better?
Yeah.
Maybe because we started cooking in the pan.
Yeah, probably the saute. Sizzling.
Well, at least you guys know we're actually cooking it here. This is not staged.
It's real. She did say too. Can't watch your fancy nice skills with the ball in front of
I know. We're definitely working on the logistics of how we shoot these. So as we continue to do more of these, we'll get better at it.
Hopefully the quality this time of the video and the sound is just a little better than last time. We'll make some slight improvements. Baby steps.
So next, I'm going to go in with our poblano peppers, which are Indian, and I also have some red and green bell peppers in here that I'm going to add. With this, like, I'm cooking to caramelize it, so I'm cooking at a very high heat, but I'm not cooking it to enough that it's completely breaking down and we're losing a lot of nutritional value. So you're going to be able to taste the flavors in this, but it's still going to have like some crunch to it, so that way you still get some nutrients on it. Season it with a little salt and pepper. While that's doing this thing and getting happy, you can start building the slot. So what we have here is we have the kale that they sent, which is it's nice and tender. It's not very tough, which you don't really find in kale unless you're buying baby kale often. So I was really excited to be able to work with this. So it's going to give us a nice crunch, but it's not going to be very fibrous, where you feel like sometimes when you're cooking or you're eating greens that you usually have to cook, they're very like hard to chew on the palate. So these should be really, really nice and stringy. We have some of the pineapple that they sent over. And then I shredded some of the carrots that they sent over. Then I have some pressed cilantro. So we're gonna mix all this in a bowl, and then I put together a cilantro lime vinaigrette that we're gonna lightly toss this in, just to give it some flavor. So inside of here is sugar, there's lime juice, olive oil, jalapeno, and I just blended it all together. So we'll be able to shake that, and we'll dress it, and then that'll be what we'll be going on our club.
Vegetables and some fruits in here too. Is there, like, if someone, of course, maybe not, if someone doesn't have a large box, they may not have all of these items, or, do you have any recommendations for at least guidelines for things to think about when you're substituting ingredients or
And produce, especially if you're making a dish like this, it's all about what you like. You know what I mean? So, like, say you don't like pineapple, I eat mango, or peaches, peaches. Something just to kind of give it a sweet texture, because kale has a very dominating flavor. So you kind of want to cut through that. And we also want some of the sweetness to offset the chipotle that you're going to get from, the sweet potatoes that have the chipotle in that you're going to get from it. The heat.
wanted to make a non-vegetarian meal, do you have recommendations on what might be better meat to kind of balance those flavors with?
I would do chicken. If you are into chorizo, chorizo would be really good with this because it's pork. Pork and like sweet stuff or like apples and fruit go really well together. And once again, chorizo is like it's kind of on the spicier side, so that kind of affects the acidity. Or you could do like fish, like mahi or tilapia. Either one of them would be really good. So that's kind of like what our bowl looks like with everything in there. Right now, our vegetables are looking good, so we're going to add the black beans to it. These are just black beans out of a can. So once again, you find them in the grocery store, depending on if you're buying organic or not. For $1, $1.50, budget friendly. This whole meal will cost us maybe $15. Can't argue with that, you know what I mean? I need salt. While that's warming, heating up, we'll add our dressing. Go get your dressing. You want to grab a spoon? If you look in the drawer over there, there's some other things. Yep. You can be honest, like if it's not good, then say so. We want our viewers to know the truth.
The lime is like the lime. Did you say cilantro?
There's lime juice in there, jalapeno, the cilantro.
Yeah, that's really good. Fresh. But not overpowering. Like
Right.
there's no single flavor that's like dominating. It's very
And
good.
how spicy is it?
It's not spicy.
But then
And I really
jalapeno.
only like kind of a solid medium. Like I'm not a very spicy food fan. It's very good. Not spicy at all.
So that's our slaw that's actually dressed. And with this, normally we would let it sit for like 15, 20 minutes in the refrigerator to kind of let the flavors marry and get happy.
Marry and get happy.
And then, you know, but you can do this 2-3 hours at a time and let it sit. If you also wanted a little more crunch factor to it, you can add red cabbage to it or white cabbage. It just depends on what your preference is.
I would have never thought to put kale in a slaw.
They're beautiful greens. We gotta learn how to work them any way we can. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to heat us up like 2 tortillas.
Okay.
And then we can start building the tacos if you're ready to eat.
I mean, I came hungry, so.
Okay, well, good.
We've got all the spoon. There's 2 of us here.
But we will make sure that we won't leave hungry.
Okay, perfect.
So these are just plain flour tortillas if you're into corn. You can use corn tortillas. If you are really adventurous and you would like to make your own corn tortillas or flour tortillas from scratch, that would be awesome. But it's whatever your preference is. Once again, a pack of beans are like $1.20. They're not really.
I like that you went that route too, because a lot of times, like I know, even if you just do your standard taco seasoning mix with ground beef and lettuce, tomatoes, cheese, you know, it's a standard meal, but a lot of times in my mind, it's like there's a lot of things to prep or get ready to do, but so it almost seems with a taco like this, if I go to a restaurant like this, seems very fancy. So it's something that's kind of elegant and exciting, but I like that you kept it on the budget.
Right. Yeah, I mean, and it kind of goes to show you that in the restaurant world, that you get overcharged for.
Oh, so you admit it.
Well, you know, everyone has their business.
Chef's secrets.
Pretty sure, you know, I mean,
It's true.
it's true when you
Markup
know.
on everything is
Right.
significant. Do you want me to bring over the
Okay. Make sure that it's not hot to touch it because I don't want you to burn it. Okay.
So pretty.
So this is what our finished product looks like from the roasted zucchini and the chipotle sweet potatoes. So now we can start building our tacos if you guys would like.
Woo.
You guys have any questions out there so far?
Can we come up this afternoon and get samples?
If you're around,
Why not?
you're on campus today, swing by.
I will be up there.
It's just gonna be us gorging ourselves and trying to find innocent passerby to pawn food on. Not that I think anyone would argue, but
You know what we forgot?
what did we
We
forget?
forget tequila. I had
Oh,
tacos without tequila.
not what I expected, but you are right. Does the cooking demo give us like a free pass for the rest of the workday? Like good afternoon.
Right,
good
you know.
time.
At least I think so.
Chef Xavier, when you make your sauces, do you use a Cuisinart, what am I thinking, food processor, or just shake?
So, the vinaigrette that I made for the dressing for the slaw, I actually use my Vitamix. But if you have a food processor, or you can do it by hand, you know, it's whatever your preference is. Neither, or if you have a blender, like they all work perfectly.
Okay.
It is, but you know, we only live once, right?
All about the presentation, right?
It is. So what we're going to do now is I actually made avocado crema, which is Greek yogurt, a little bit of mayo, avocado, some seasonings, and cilantro. Lime just to kind of give it a little creaminess to this, and it also is going to help with the heat of the chipotle. So there's a lot of flavors going on, and all of the everything that I've done is going to be expressed in the recipes that JC will post. These are just chopped green onions. Yeah, the cold water actually, like, for lack of better words, petrifies them. So when you're plating this and you're sitting on something hot, they'll stay nice and crisp.
Tips and tricks. Learning all kinds of things today.
Should be good to go. I don't even know if you can hold that up to the camera.
Get it nice and close to everyone. Without it, as much of an angle as I can get without it falling. Does that look right on the screen?
There you go.
Ooh, you're starting to slide.
So that is done. If you are on campus, you know, you guys can stop up and try them. If you have to make one for you, and let me know what you guys think.
Thanks everyone for participating. Does anyone have any questions or comments? Anything you want to ask the chef here before we sign off?
Thank you. We're lucky to have you guys.
I'm glad to be here. Thank you guys so much. This is a lot of fun.
Like I said, we will follow up with recipes. We are going to share this recording on the pulse, so anyone who missed it, you can guide them there, or if you want to watch it again, you are welcome to do so. So hopefully we'll have some follow-up soon. Thanks everyone. Thanks for participating today.
Have a good day.
See you soon.
Bye-bye.